shoot with your left.
Oh, you
have to turn around though because you're supposed to hug me from here because I want to see that arm up.
I'm getting evicted from my house. The day of the surgery. I am in so much debt. This accident has set me back so much. Snapchat stopped paying me because I'm not really uploading. Like, everything is collapsing at once. Everything. It just feels so weird. I've never felt this before. Never. I have no control over my bicep, tricep, or shoulder. I've lost over 45 pounds. I don't speak with my family. The cops are involved. Like, it's just a whole mess. School, my brain bleed. Like, I forgot my friends. I forgot my own mother. I remember now, but it's just a lot. Hi. This is probably better. I thought surviving the accident was going to be the hardest part. I really did. I thought the moment I woke up in that hospital bed, that would be the lowest point of my life. Boy, was I wrong. Because the accident itself only lasted a few seconds, but everything that came after, that's what changed years of my life. So, let me explain.
It all started with 3 months in a hospital bed I couldn't leave. 4 surgeries I didn't see coming. An arm that wouldn't move, and a knee that wouldn't hold me up. A family that vanished right when I needed them most. And an eviction notice served the day before the one surgery that actually mattered. I sold most of everything I owned just to stay afloat. And somehow, I almost walked away with a felony charge for something that happened faster than it took you to read the sentence. This isn't a story of a crash. It's the story of everything that comes after. But before I take you through any of that, I need to show you exactly what happened on that day.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, let's see. There she is. Ooh. That right there was 3.6 seconds. And I'm not exaggerating. That's not a number I came up with. That's from an 8-hour investigation they did after the accident. They closed the road, they reconstructed everything, and calculated that it took me 3.6 seconds to go from the speed limit to 108 and then impact, which was at 93. All of that in 3.6 seconds. And I know what some of you are all thinking. You see the footage and you judge me. I get it. I made a mistake. I was going way too fast. One decision and it changed my entire life. But what people don't see is everything that happens after. They see the crash, they see the motorcycle, they see the impact. They don't see the hospital rooms, the surgeries, losing the ability to do basic things, what it does to you mentally when your whole future becomes uncertain overnight. They see the headlines, maybe a clip, maybe a mugshot. Even if it comes to that, they don't see the 3 months, the eviction, the surgeries, the family that disappeared, or the version of me that had to rebuild everything starting from the hospital bed with one arm that didn't work and one arm that didn't listen. That was actually the part I wanted to talk about, because surviving the accident was just the beginning. When I woke up, I wasn't just dealing with broken bones. I had minor tears on both shoulders, 3 out of 4 torn ligaments in my knee, multiple concussions, and on top of all that, a brain bleed that made me forget who my parents were and who my friends were. Imagine looking at the people that are supposed to be the most familiar faces in your life and your brain just doesn't recognize them. But the injury that changed everything was my brachial plexus injury. Severe nerve damage on my right arm. Let me explain what that actually means, because it's not what people think. I could see my arm, my eyes worked fine, but my brain just could not find it. I couldn't move it at all. Not because it was broken, because the wiring between my brain and my arm was gone. Let me say that again, because it messes with people when I explain it. I could be looking directly at my arm, but my brain just does not know how to make it move. And keep in mind, that was my dominant arm, the hand I used for everything. My left arm was broken too, so both were basically useless. Either way, getting out of bed, eating, showering, using the restroom, getting dressed, things you didn't think twice about, suddenly became the hardest part of my day. Every single day. I spent almost 3 months in a hospital bed. I needed nurses just to feed me and clean me. Going home wasn't an option. Not just yet. Not with no working arms. At the time, I was living with my parents. Again, we had just reconnected after a decade apart. They've only been back in the country for about 3 years, and we're still kind of learning how to deal with each other again and live together, figuring out how to live under the same roof after all that time. And in the middle of that, I was also a full-time college student, starting my junior year, which if you've been through it, you know that's probably one of the hardest years in college. So while my body was trying to survive, my entire life outside the hospital was falling apart. And I didn't even know the half of it too. And then there's the thing that nobody tells you. Physical injuries were only the half of it. I failed my classes. Obviously, I wasn't there. I had to fight the school just to protect my GPA I've worked for years and explain to them what happened. Because all they saw on paper was failed classes and missed classes. They didn't see the whole hospital bed thing. They didn't see that I couldn't hold a pen or any of it. And then there was the motorcycle, my dream bike, something I'd wanted for years, finally mine. And in one moment, it was gone. Some people hear motorcycle and think it's not a big deal. But this wasn't just a bike to me. This was the Michael Jordan of motorcycles. Won 10 years in a row and only lost once in that entire era. It wasn't just transportation. It was history. 15,000 gone with it. I'll pretend like that didn't hurt my wallet as much as it did. But honestly, the money wasn't even the hardest part. Losing the dream attached to it was. And to make it all worse, I didn't have insurance on it. A friend told me at the time he found a cheaper policy, so I canceled mine 4 days before the accident. 4 days after I got conscious enough in the hospital to check my emails on my new phone, because my old one was obviously destroyed. Do you know what I found sitting in my inbox? A $40 refund from the policy I had canceled 4 days before I needed it. On top of that, someone found my wallet after the accident and tried to max out all my cards and steal my identity. That's a whole separate mess I'm dealing with right now. With my truck at the shop the day of the accident, just a paint correction, nothing wrong with it. I just like things Perfect. The mechanic said a week. He took almost a whole month, which is why I was on the motorcycle the day of the accident instead of the truck. I also had to get a new laptop, which could run you some money. And why I mention that is because the laptop might have been the thing that saved my back as I was riding back from school. And the actual medical bills. Scans for my brain, my shoulder, my knee, my elbows. Not one of each, 5 or 6 of each, because different doctors needed different things. And yes, insurance covers some of it, but they fight you on everything. Why do you need another scan? Why more than 4? They look for every reason not to pay. Then there was the legal side of things because of my speed. This wasn't just an accident. It was a felony because I was doing double the speed limit. I was fighting for my life in that hospital bed and fighting to stay out of jail at the same time. The other driver didn't even have a license and no insurance, and it was ruled to be 100% my fault. 3.6 seconds was all it took to be labeled as a felon. To me, that was a slap in the face. The law isn't fair, but then again, life isn't fair either. I'm not saying any of this to complain. I'm saying it because the law looks at numbers on a report. It doesn't see the person laying in the bed trying to survive. Eventually, I sold my cars, including the truck, just to stay afloat. I fell behind on loans I was paying at the time. Money I'd planned for, gone. Plans I'd made, gone. And all of this, every bit of it, happened before I even got out of the hospital. Before my main surgery. Before I even knew what recovery was going to look like. After almost 3 months, I finally got out, and walking out felt incredible. I couldn't wait to sleep in my bed, eat real food, just be outside again. But I wasn't leaving healthy. I couldn't use my right arm. My left arm was still healing. My knee made every step painful. Even the simplest things still felt impossible. People think one surgery, one discharge date, and you're fixed. Recovery didn't end when I left the hospital. It was just the beginning. It became my full-time job. The appointments kept coming, the therapy kept coming, the scans kept coming, and so did the bills. I was waiting on the surgery that actually mattered most, the one for my brachial plexus, and every appointment came with a guess. Another percentage, another maybe. Finding the right surgeon for that surgery took months. I found a therapist named Sarah who was working with the brachial plexus team, who was ranked top 10 in the entire country for the brachial plexus recovery. Getting an appointment with them was a fight on its own, but she was with me through all of it, and she is the best therapist I could have asked for. In the meantime, I basically lived in the gym, in the sauna, in the steam room. I didn't know for sure if any of it was helping. I just knew that I couldn't sit still and feel sorry for myself. Looking back, I genuinely think the heat from that steam room gave my nerves the environment they really needed to regrow. My arms always felt better warm, worse in the cold. So all I could do was keep showing up, keep believing, because giving up was not an option. But the hardest part still hadn't come yet. The day before my surgery, one of the biggest surgeries of my life, there was a knock at the door. It wasn't my family, it wasn't my friends, it was the police. My own parents, both of them nurses, both of them supposed to be nursing their own son back to health. They had a lawyer hired and served me with an eviction notice. At that point, I had no job, no income. I was a full-time student and I couldn't properly move my arms. I had spent the last several months just laying in bed, going for slow walks, trying to keep my head above water mentally while losing a whole semester of school and going deeper into debt. And somehow, out of all days they could have picked, that's the day they chose, the day before my surgery. I've tried everything I could. I've had friends talk to them, brought them the imam from the mosque to speak with them, apologized over and over for whatever it is I did. Nothing changed. Seeing your own parents take you to court, having your own family kick you while you're down is one of the worst feelings I've ever had to sit with. To this day, I still don't fully understand why. And honestly, I don't think I ever will. The next morning, I went into surgery anyway. My family didn't come. not to any of my surgeries, that hurt more than I can put into any words. I know some of you watching have great relationships with your family, and I genuinely love that for you. But that wasn't my reality. I was on many medications at that point: opioids, antidepressants, muscle relaxers, physically exhausted, and mentally still trying to process the accident. The hospital, the debt, the court case, and now the eviction, all stacked up on top of each other, like it would never stop. But after that surgery, I had a decision to make: sit there feeling sorry for myself or figure out what comes next. I chose to move forward. The eviction was still moving through the courts, so within 30 days of my surgery, I had to find somewhere to live. While I couldn't work, I had friends that stepped in and helped me pack up and move everything I owned piece by piece, box by box. I eventually found a property where I made a deal with the owner. I told him straight up I didn't have much, but I had experience in construction, so I fixed the place up myself in exchange for staying there, and I started paying him month to month as agreed on. That chapter taught me something I'll never forget. Family isn't always the people we're related to. Sometimes it's people who show up when life gives them every reason to walk away, and you really don't find out who's in your corner until you're actually in one. 4 months after the surgery, I went back for a follow-up. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. With a brachial plexus injury, recovery isn't measured in days, weeks. It's measured in months, sometimes years. Before the accident, they told me that there was about an 80% chance that I'd be able to move my arm against gravity. That was the whole goal, just fighting gravity. So while I was recovering, I treated therapy like a full-time job. Every single day in the gym, every single day in the steam room, quitting nicotine because that didn't do anything for me. And they started testing my arm, moving in different directions. I watched their face change in real time. What I was doing in 4 months, some patients didn't get to in 2 years. Hearing that meant everything. Not because I wanted to prove anyone wrong, but because for the first time since the accident, I could finally see a future again. A future where I wasn't defined by my injuries. I don't want to take all the credit. Yes, I showed up to therapy every single day. Yes, I quit nicotine and rebuilt better habits. Yes, I kept going to the gym and the steam room, but every bit of that process was a blessing from God. That none of this happened by accident, and there was a reason behind every setback, even the ones I couldn't understand. The accident didn't end my story. It just changed the direction of it. It's almost been an entire year now. Before the accident, I had a picture of exactly what my life was supposed to look like. Graduate, build my career, buy the things I wanted, keep moving forward, but 3.6 seconds changed all of it. And if I'm honest, I'm still recovering. People see me smiling, back in the gym, making videos again, and they assume everything's back to normal, but it's not. I've had more surgeries since then, and I have another one coming up. Doctors told me decades from now, I'll probably still feel like this. And it's not something that ends. It follows you. I've lost things I'll never get back. My health, my dream bike, money, time, opportunities, people I thought would always be in my corner. But strangely enough, I also found things I didn't have before. Patience, discipline, gratitude, a deeper relationship with God. There were days where all I could do was lie there with no phone, no work, no distractions, just me and my thoughts. And those moments changed how I see everything. We spent so much time in our lives chasing things we're never actually promised. We go to school, get a job, and put money away in a 401k and tell ourselves we'll finally live at 65. But 65 isn't guaranteed. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. The only thing any of us is actually guaranteed is that one day it ends. And almost nobody prepares for that. That accident forced me to face that truth a lot sooner than I expected. And as much as it hurts, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for what it taught me. I move with more purpose now. I appreciate the people who actually show up for me. I'm more intentional with everything that I do because I'm not waiting for someday anymore. For everybody who's asking where I went, especially the 200,000 of you on Snapchat before I disappeared without a word, this is why. I wasn't ignoring you. I just wasn't ready to talk about it, any of it. Honestly, I'm better than I was before the accident. It may not look like it from the outside, but things are clearer to me. my goals, my purpose, the people worth keeping around, all of it. But there's one question that people constantly ask me after all of this, after the surgeries, the pain, losing almost everything. Why would you still get on a motorcycle? Why would you still want another motorcycle? Is it because I'm stupid, or do I really love it that much? I've done a lot of reflection and I've come up with the conclusion. It's the same reason people drink, the same reason people smoke, the same reason people do drugs. It's to feel something in the moment you're currently living in and forget about everything else. Every responsibility, every problem for a second, nothing else matters. That's the exact feeling I get on that motorcycle. Because when you're riding, you have no choice but to put everything to the side. Everything in your brain has to exit. You're constantly scanning the road beside you, in front of you, behind you, tracking everything at that speed in real time. There's no room left in your head for anything else. And that's what makes me live in the moment. That's what made me feel free. And I've never gotten that feeling from anything else in my life. The speed, the adrenaline, the fear of it all at once. To confirm my thoughts and my reflections, I went and asked other riders the same question. If you know your next ride would be the last, would you still get on? Some of the answers surprised me, and that's a whole nother video on its own, and it's coming soon. Because this was never really about the motorcycle, it was never really about the crash, it was about everything that came after the 3.6 seconds. The people who left, the people who stayed, and who I became after it. If this helped any of you slow down, appreciate what you have, or keep fighting through whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, then this was worth making. And if you had made it this far, thank you for listening. This is only the first chapter. I'll see you in the next one.